welcome one and all. THORChain is the first DEX to swap real Bitcoin, and now you can use every Bitcoin wallet in the world, and you don't have to connect it to a website. Same with ETH, XRP, BNB, Tron, Doge, and more. Eventually, be able to swap any token from any wallet. THORChain is turning into a full layer one liquidity engine where apps can be built on top of it. The new app layer, Rujira, unlocks lending, perps, Bitcoin backed stablecoin, token launchpad, NFTs, prediction markets, and much more. You guys, THORChain isn't just a DEX, it's becoming the protocol of pure, uncensored liquidity. Swapping on THORChain is permissionless, there's no KYC. Anyone in the world can use it. To swap on THORChain, go to thorchain.org and click on swap. You do not need to connect your wallet to make a swap on THORChain. New features and functionality will be added to the site over the next few months. If you encounter any issues whatsoever, there is some resource on there for you to submit a token. THORChain's token is called RUNE. That is spelled RUNE. You don't need to buy or hold RUNE to place a swap on THORChain, but the fees deducted from your swap are used to buy RUNE, and this RUNE is the yield that goes to liquidity pools and nodes. There are no block rewards on THORChain. 100% of the yield is real, and THORChain is currently deflationary with 5% of the revenue being burned. If you hold RUNE on a centralized exchange, you should withdraw it into self-custody because those tokens can be used to short sell RUNE and drive the price down on yourself. And once in self-custody, please look into bonding your RUNE to a note to earn some yield and help secure the network. A really great site for that, guys, is runebond.com. It is so easy. All you have to do, select a node, request a whitelist, and then bond your RUNE. Additionally, a shout out to the audience and to the community. RuneBond, RuneTard, and other node operators can help new node operators and be a broker for finding them. If anyone out there knows anyone who has technical skill or is interested in becoming a node operator, or maybe you yourself want to become a node operator, or at least want to inquire about it, please reach out to me, Kenton, RuneTard. We will get you going. RuneTard is at RuneTard, RUNE Tard on X. THORChain has another token called TCY. This token is kind of like a preferred stock where 10% of the protocol's revenue goes to these token holders. If you deposit crypto into savers or took out a loan on THORChain, make sure to claim your TCY token so you can start collecting this yield. And anyone can buy the TCY token on thorchain.org as well. There's a THORChain community Discord and Telegram you can join, learn all about THORChain, make all kinds of friends. To find the links, go to @Thor, that's THOR, community account on X. These spaces are aimed at towards anyone in your THORChain journey, whether you're brand spanking new or a hardened veteran. There will be something for you today. You guys, we are having a wonderful week. My name is Denny. My other account is Patriot Sounds. I have been an educator, content creator for THORChain going on half a decade now. We have been setting multiple records this week. I want Chad to really break it down. I don't want to steal his thunder, but I'm going to kick it to Kenton real quick. Kenton, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Thanks. Love your intro, dude. You get me going, so it's good. Um, yeah, I'll give I guess a quick update on marketing in the front end. So you guys know that some of the features on THORChain are paused right now because of the security bug, and one of those are limit orders. So limit orders on the front end that's being delayed because they can't do any testing. So that's being held off for a bit for now. Otherwise, what else? There's another little bug about, I guess, the proper ETH balance wasn't being pulled for some people. That is supposed to have been fixed now with Blockchair. We're using Blockchair as the blockchain explorer, but Blockchair said it's fixed now, so hopefully that's good. Um, then we keep having some issues with people using smart contracts to do memoless trades and which doesn't work, right? And people can end up losing their money. Right before we had like just like a warning, don't use a smart contract. But now we're gonna do like a checkbox. Like you actually have to check it off. Hopefully, force people to read it. And so this is more iteration, guys. If you think of something that'd be better explained or how to do something, whatever, just bring it up. Send it to us. But um, when we see these issues, we constantly trying to think of like how do we prevent them. So hopefully the checkbox will help protect people from losing trades and memoless. That's the front end. I've got some from marketing. Some good news. Me being persistent, not taking no for an answer, I was able to acquire the THORChain handle on LinkedIn and have another one removed. So there's a couple handles, and I got the one with the most followers, and got the other one deleted. So the other small one deleted. Actually, Chad, you've got that on your bio. You'll have to go update it to the new at THORChain. Um,
Yeah, I'll do that.
but there's only so on LinkedIn, it should only be one THORChain page. It's ours. We control it now, and so we're going to start posting there. So if you guys can, go give it a like, give it a follow, boost the follow, users there, that'd be great. Um, I've also got control of the Facebook page, so the THORChain handle on Facebook. Um, Again, if you guys can go give it a follow, whatever, that'll help. We need at least 100 followers on it before we can start doing certain things, like live streaming or paid ads. Um, and then they told me I don't want to jinx it, but I think it should be fine. I should be getting the Instagram account too. I don't officially have it, but they told me today they're going to get it. They just hasn't happened yet. Um, um,
So you
and
need
the,
100 followers on the LinkedIn or the
Facebook on Facebook because there's zero
oh,
followers
Facebook.
on the Facebook page.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you guys can follow it to your Facebook account, that'd be great. Um,
Could you put out like a tweet or like a link or whatever?
yeah,
I'll do
actually,
my I'll do it right now, actually,
that's a
while we're
good
talking.
that's a good idea. I've been jumping from a bunch of things today, so link on Twitter. And then so this got me going looking at the other plot, and I got that all for free, you guys. That was just me digging in help desk articles and getting in. I was actually on the phone with Facebook till like 1 or 2 a.m. the other night. Um, they're surprised. It's actually surprisingly helpful. I thought this was going to take months. I'm like, oh, I'll just get the process started, and it's gonna be a bunch of red tape and back and forth, and it only took like a day. And they're like super responsive, and they actually asked to talk to me on the phone. I was like, holy smokes! So and LinkedIn basically just handed it right over to me. It was pretty simple. But so I started looking at YouTube and TikTok. Those are a bit more difficult. Um, and YouTube for now we should be fine because we've got the THORChain community. We'll use that, and they've got some followers and content, so that's the one we're going to use. THORChain community handle on YouTube for now, and then on TikTok, there- it's just so frustrating because some guy got the THORChain handle like 6 months ago, and I'm looking into it. That one might be more difficult, but regardless, like even if we were to get it, we have to have an existing account for them to assign it to. So I had to create a TikTok account anyway, and it's not like we would acquire any users or anything from the existing THORChain account. So we have to have our own handle and just start using that. It's called THORChain Contact. And if I am able to acquire the pure THORChain handle, they would just change our handle to THORChain, and we keep all our followers, all our content, everything the same. So we'll start doing that. We'll start growing that one, and um, yeah. So the goal here is just, we have all this content on Twitter. Let's start reposting it elsewhere. Just start growing the audiences elsewhere. We wanted to start doing paid ads, right? We want to pay to get make our commercials, our content out there. So we need an account to do it. And we just had a call today. Me and a few of the guys were like, everyone agrees we got to do video content. And so we made the decision today we're going to move away from spaces and you start using Riverside. So Chad, hopefully you're cool with it. But basically it'll be like a Zoom call. We'll have video of all our faces, we'll all be talking, and we can stream it live to Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook and all these other platforms. Do it live. And um, the uh, the only real hang up with doing this is that, you guys are guests and you're listeners, for you to request to come speak, you won't be able to do that like on a Twitter space. You'll have to come to the Restream, sorry, the Riverside site to do it. And so there's supposed to be a link where you can come do it. And apparently you do it within the browser. You don't have to have an account or anything like that. So hopefully it's just as easy for you guys to come up, to ask questions and whatnot. Um, and but we'll also have like a chat box. So if you don't want to come up, you just want to type in your question, we'll be able to get that. Um, and
So
then
what can you still do, like, stream it to to Spaces, or like, the whole thing moves from Spaces to Riverside or whatever?
No, it starts at Riverside. It's there, lives there, and then it's streamed to Twitter. So it'll be a
Oh,
live
okay.
stream on like the Twitter account, and I don't know if it'll be like an actual post. So people will be able to watch it, tune in on Twitter. Um,
Yeah, they'll probably be able to tune in on, like, other places too, like, you know, maybe TikTok or something
yeah,
else. I'm not
yeah,
sure what, but yeah.
yeah. We can. This is another reason we need 100 followers on Facebook, and we need 1,000 followers on TikTok in order to live stream.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the goal, and same with YouTube, right? We'll be able to connect to the YouTube channel and live stream there. So we'll be able to live stream this space to all of the social channels, and more importantly, get rid of the rugging, right? I mean, how many times we've been rugged with these stupid spaces, and um, but the bigger picture goal is, putting faces to our voices, and so when we have these spaces on YouTube, and people want to see video, right? They don't want to just listen to audio, right? And hopefully we can start connecting basically with a whole new audience, and we become more personable to people. And then when with the Coke starts taking clips of these videos and whatnot, um posting them on TikTok and Instagram, YouTube shorts, like the actual, video social channels, hopefully that'll help open up a new audience for us. So, we want to, try and grow and focus on the video content. And the nice thing is, like, there's no real cost. The only real cost to doing this is just, our own inertia, right? And just us getting used to doing something different. But um so yeah, so I think over the next week we're gonna try and get set up here. So hopefully next Thursday we'll try our first one and see how it goes. And yeah, that's what we've been working on.
Cool. Nice. Good job.
Thanks.
Awesome work, man. Fantastic. Is that it, Kenton, on the marketing and social
Uh
media side?
on my mind, yeah, I've been focused on this all week. Uh I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, nothing else important anyway.
Perfect, man. I'm really glad you mentioned the smart contract thing. Me and Coke were actually working on a video. We got it done on the Memless, but I think we're going to redo it now. We're definitely going to redo it so we can mention that spot. We want to make sure we're up to date. So I'm so glad you mentioned that. So we're already chatting in DMs about it. So we're going to get it done after this space. But I hope you guys can feel the momentum. I mean, we're a second week into the year. Go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, sorry. I didn't mean to say anything.
Oh, okay, you're good. We're the second week into the year. Can you guys feel in your chest? Do you feel the momentum? Do you feel the cadence? Do you just feel the wheels turning? We're just pushing towards Asgard like 100 miles an hour. So unbelievably excited. This second week of the year, we have broken records twice. And within 1 week, twice of the entire blockchain industry. And Chad, this is where I want to begin because I don't want to really break this moment down. Really, this is kind of a lot of your moment as the beginning contributor of THORChain, right? What THORChain started, I think it was 2018 at a hot hackathon in Germany. I think it was Berlin, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going from memory here. And look where we're at today, guys, 2026. And we are breaking records. We are showing the entire blockchain space what is possible. So if there was ever a space for you guys to share, let it be this one. Whether you're listening live or the recording, please share the space and spread the word about what Kenton needs when it comes to social media, getting that Facebook count up. Let's get the TikTok up. But this is where I'm going to kick it to you, Chad. Like, how are you feeling, man, right now, seeing what we have accomplished over this last week?
You're really you're really giving me a running head start on this. Are you referring to, like, the larger trades? Is that what
Yes,
you're
sir.
excited
Yeah,
about?
yeah, that's not exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, we've had these, like, massive trades, There was like I think there was initially it was this is all by the same person, by the way. Initially there was like a couple of trades on from BDC to XRP, and I think that was like 30 BDC and 50 BDC, which is obviously a lot of money. Um, and then they traded, I think it was like going from BDC to Ether. I think that was like $22 million trade. Like, and that's like, to my memory, I don't know, maybe somebody who's, can like look it up in the data. But like from my memory, I don't recall seeing a single trade that size. It was 22 million, I think it was yesterday, or 21 million. And then today we saw the same address, the same Bitcoin address, did another trade for like 32 million or 33 million, whatever it was. I think it was 32. Passing through the network. It's gonna take about like I think it's like 12 hours for the protocol to process that large of a trade. And what's crazy is that like there's been a really significant uptick in the arbitrage side of things. Like they're doing an extremely good job kind of maintaining the pools through this like really large trade, which is like very like unusually what good for relative to our history. So I'm actually like that's probably the most bullish news out of all of this. Really, it's not so much like the size of that trade, but how well the arbs are arbing. It just shows a level of like new maturity in the protocol, which is obviously very, very positive. And what's even more interesting is that like this BDC trader, they still have another like 32 million BDC sitting in that wallet. And I'm presuming or assuming that they're going to make another trade tomorrow of a of the exact same size as we saw today. So I think in total, this user is throwing through like 1,000 BDC, if I'm not mistaken. 1,000 BDC is a lot of Bitcoin if you didn't already know. If anybody was confused, if 1,000 Bitcoin is a lot of money, the answer is yes. Actually, I don't even know what off the top of my head. I don't even know what the Bitcoin price is right now. Was it 94,000? What
$100
it is?
million dollars basically.
Yeah, but like just shy of $100 million. So $100 million being pumped through the networks, and without a hitch. Like it's so like knock on wood, of course. But like it's all been going very smoothly. Like the arbs are doing a fantastic job arbing it, which is great to see. And so like it's a very very positive thing. And I think part of the reason why we got these trades more than arguably anything else is that like I think Chainflip and Near and these guys don't actually support trades of that size. I don't know why that is. Maybe they have some sort of rules in their ecosystem for a reason. But like if you go to SwapKit or like THORSwap's UI and you try to trade like 300 BTC or something, they don't even come up as an option. So I assume that means that they don't even support trades of the size. But in any case, we'll take it. I
Yeah,
don't.
we will.
Uh, I don't mind it. You can go ahead and throw that much. There actually was a conversation internally about like what we should do with when we get something of that size, but after discussion, there's not really much to do. From a security perspective, there's already systems in place that kind of help mitigate security risk to some degree. But anyways, like it's obviously like a very very positive week. It's a good way to start off 2026, I'd say. But yeah, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, and I was just on a space before this space with Dash. I'm just, I'm trying to get as much out there, and I talked about this swap, and I did get inquiries of like, well, how do you doing that? How does that work? And I broke it down how exactly it all works. And I think we're getting a lot of eyes, guys. We're getting a lot of eyes with this swap. I mean, this is a proof of concept right here, right in front of our eyes, seeing it in real time. What is possible with our design? It takes a while to get it right. It's been very complex. I think Chad could speak about that better than anyone. But yeah, hats off to you, Chad. Hats off to you and the devs, Nine Realms, everyone who's worked on THORChain. This is an incredible week. I am just so unbelievably grateful for your guys' hard work. So well done.
Yeah, I mean, if I can just brag for a moment here, because this is probably the best place to do it. Like the reason why we can take such a massive trade and still get remarkably good execution is because of like our streaming swap idea we came up with, a couple of years ago. And I remember like when I had this concept, I spoke to JP about it, and we had to invent new math to make it work, and all this to make it functional. It's, that's a huge kind of advancement in in our exchange. Like, before that point, we really like you wouldn't see a trade larger than like $10,000 typically, or maybe somebody wanted to do $100,000 trade and they break it up manually into 10 different trades or something. And I actually recall getting into a debate with somebody on the Nine Realm side. I'm not going to mention that person's name, but and they were arguing against streaming swaps. I didn't think we should do it, and they said like, "Well, we'll never see a trade who wants to do more than $10,000." That was the argument that they said to me at the time, and I was like, "We talking about like if we could support $100,000 trades?" I wasn't thinking $32 million trades at that particular time, to be fair, but that was like a huge change, right? In what we are capable of actually executing. And once we get like once rapid swaps is like running, I'm not going to go as far to say that you can do a $32 million trade in a single block. That's probably more than the arbs can take. But the trade would happen basically as fast as the arbs can move their liquidity. It's probably how fast it would be, which will be significantly faster than the 12 hours that the current trade is like happening at. So rapid swaps, I'm really excited to see that happen because that's going to make it even better that we can trade, $32 million trade and get it executed like extremely fast. Would be a nice little bragging rights we have.
I'm seeing
Wait,
lots of clapping and thumbs up. Go ahead, Kenton.
wait till we're in a genuine bull market. We'll do a $30 million trade over a block. It'll happen. Give it a give it a year or two.
I mean, in order to, in theory, in order to do that, you would need at least $32 million worth of ARB capital, available on the network. I don't even know how much ARB capital is really like on the network today. I'm not even sure if there's an easy way of calculating that, but the 32 million is a lot. If ARBs become even more mature than they are now, then maybe. I don't know. I'm not going to be presumptuous, but maybe. Well, you never know. I'll say you never know. But I wouldn't be confident about it. I'll say that.
What can I so if you
Well,
have multiple arbs, can't multiple arbs facilitate one mass? Like if you had like 50 people trying to
Yes,
arb. Yeah, yeah.
right.
I so
That's true.
well, and also too, Chad, if I remind you how rapid swaps work. I mean, what if what if you've got $31 million trades going the other direction, right? Then they,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
So,
I mean, that's in effect what an ARB would be doing was be putting up. Let's say an ARB has $1 million in the Bitcoin pool specifically. It would swap through that $1 million relatively quickly. Then the arb would have to take the result of their trade, put it through typically through like an exchange like Binance, for example, or something like this, back to the original asset that it started, but back to the source asset that it started up, and then put the $1 million back in. Right. And so like however long that process takes is like the roundabout time that it takes that arb to move that $1 million. Let's just say it takes like let's just say that takes 5 minutes or make it easier, 10 minutes, right? So that means like in 10 minutes, they can do $1 million worth of trading for this particular like pool in this particular situation. So how long would it take them? 32 minutes? Well, not that long relative to the 12 hours that we're currently trading at. So even if ARB only has 1 million instead of the 32 million, you're still going to execute it relatively quickly to what it is now. But to what Boney Bones was just saying, sorry, was saying is that like you could do it where you have obviously you have multiple arbs going, and the collective capital together would be able to arb it even faster.
no, but I'm not even talking about arbs. I'm just talking about what if there's some random people just doing a one-way swap, but it's the opposite direction, right?
Yeah,
Gonna
yeah,
cancel
that's
out,
true.
right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. If there's, you're right. If there's random people just swapping the opposite direction, then absolutely that could
And
totally happen.
the arbs only really matter when after you net the flows one way and the other way, whatever is net left over, that's when it really matters for the arbs, right?
Right, but you generally are left to the arbs in most scenarios because if you've got a bunch of capital going in the reverse direction, let's say another 30 million, there's a decent chance you've got another 30 million going in the other direction as well. People trading from Bitcoin to ETH or ETH to Bitcoin, because just making the assumption that at any given moment there's an equal amount of capital going towards Bitcoin and towards Ether. Oh, that's not necessarily true. There's like market conditions that could cause it to, be lopsided on one other. Like in a general sense, in a kind of homeostasis perspective, that might be true. And so the arbs are just kind of are the ones that are kind of leveling out between the two.
It's a shame that limit orders are down right now because isn't this a good scenario where limit orders would really help the arbs, where they could place their limits, really help like on big dollar sizes like this? Would that really help them manage absorbing this size trade?
Yeah, it would help. It actually would give them probably even better execution, I'm guessing. And on paper, it should. I don't know if in practicality, it's a bit more complicated because there's a lot of chaos in the real world. But on paper, yes, that it should execute even more effectively.
Cool. So these trades, they're all going through Trust Wallet, right?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Which is kind of surprising that much money is coming through that kind of wallet. But maybe they're using Ledger on Trust Wallet. That's possible.
And some people have noted, if they skip Trust Wallet to use swap.thorchain.org, they'd save money. That's fine for us to notice, guys, but don't please, I don't think it's wise to promote that or talk about it. We should instead be celebrating how many fees Trust Wallet is earning off of this. And if we can say, Trust Wallet made, however many thousands of dollars, off of these trades, we can use that to prod the other wallets and say like, "Hey, Trezor, why aren't you integrating THORChain? Hey, whatever wallet, look what you missed out on. Look what Trust Wallet has done." And you can make these fees too. Uh, Integrate THORChain's API. It's free. Here you go. Right. All it's cost is your dev time to do it. You can do it, pretty quick. That's how we talk about it publicly and promote it, and in turn benefit THORChain. And play nice in the sandbox with our partners, right? We're not trying to cannibalize their volume. We still want them. We still want them to integrate THORChain. So yeah. So if anybody knows how much Trust Wallet has actually made off these swaps so far, let me know. I'm curious.
I think I looked at one of them yesterday, and I think it's like 50K. Does that sound about right, or did I misread it?
Holy smokes, I don't know. I've
Uh,
been more or less offline. I've had my head down in work. I've really been paying attention to stuff.
okay, it's 70 basis points, right? So that would be 0.007. You multiply that times 31 million. I get $217,000, almost a quarter million dollars in fees.
I
Is
think
that
they
right?
get the whale thing though. I think SwapKit does a
Oh,
thing where if like you're a whale, you get like half the affiliate fees. I think, or maybe that's just
oh,
Thor Swap and not SwapKit. I'm not sure.
okay. Then the bot is wrong because it says 0.7%. But I think you're right, Chad. That's a good point. If you make a huge swap, then I think you get a discounted rate.
Well,
Or
that's
if it's
on, but that on
wait,
Trust.
this is with Trust Wallet. Yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right,
this is
Kenton.
Trust Wallet,
Shit.
not Thor Swap, right? Like Thor Swap will do that, I think. And Swap Kit takes that 0.7% that Trust Wallet is charging. They pay a portion of that to Swap Kit, but it's not. I know it's a fraction of it. It's not. So I think it's 0.7%. I think it's the full. That's what's being charged.
Wow.
Wow, that's
Congratulations,
a
Trust
crazy amount
Wallet.
of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of Kentucky Fried Chicken, boys. I don't, that's a lot of money for one swap. And well, there was another swap the other day, and like Chad said, another swap may be coming tomorrow. Logically, may come tomorrow. I mean, he did the exact half of what he did, what's left in his wallet. So you could infer that. Incredible, absolutely incredible.
It's
Wow.
literally the amount of BTC left in the wallet now. I think is the almost exact amount of Bitcoin that he's swapping right now. So I'm making the assumption that the rest is going to come through, but maybe that's not true.
Regardless, we've already done very, very well. Kenton, I'm curious. Um, do you plan on marketing like when something like this happens? Do you have any specific technique or idea of how you can take advantage of it in promotional context?
Well, that was just it. That was the pitch I gave you, and then I relayed that to the Thorchain Twitter account guys. That's how they got to talk about it. I haven't. I think they've been posting some stuff about it.
I put a
Um,
Yeah, I put a thing up top, world record speed run, guys, and call to action to the audience. Sorry to cut you off, Kenton. Please, guys, share that, and like Kenton said, celebrate how much money our partner Trust Wallet has made from this swap and how other people can cash in. Go ahead, Kenton. Sorry.
No, that was it. As far as like anything kind of like like bigger idea picture than that, no, I've not thought of anything. I mean, I guess we could write a blog post or highlight it in a quarterly report. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how else to really get it out there beside word of mouth. Did you have any ideas? Like, what did you have in mind?
Well, so just to splash a little bit of cold water in the situation, we don't actually know the source of these funds, right? I don't know if it's legit or illegitimate, right? And I think we got burned some when the whole Bybit thing happened, and we were excited about a bunch of like large swaps before I think before we actually understood that the money came from a Bybit hack and whatever. I don't know where this Bitcoin came from. I'm not a chain analysis, person, so I don't even have the skill set really to figure that out. But I didn't want to get like too crazy and celebrate something, and then like tomorrow it comes out that it was like you know some sort of hack or you know
Right.
something more nefarious.
From what I understand, and again, this is not me checking it all. As far as I know, there is no hack or anything associated with these funds. And I guess we could also just deduce that if there had been and this slipped through the wire, I would think that SwapKit would have added it to their filter, right? They've had days to do that. But I don't know. You're right, Chad. Maybe we can just wait a little bit, make sure it's all secure. But I've heard from more than one person that they can't seem to see any nefarious origin of these funds. So let's hope that stays true.
I mean, to be honest, like if I'm being honest, like it's unlikely that it's I mean, it's unlikely that it's legitimate because, like, honestly, if you are a person that's trading legitimately, like, you probably want to go through a centralized exchange in the sense that, like, you get to see OTC dealership prices, and there's accountability if something goes wrong. And not just like, like there's somebody who has the money rather than going through a DeFi protocol, which is harder to claw back money that goes, wrong, whatever. Like, I don't know, if I had $100 million that I wanted to swap through Bitcoin, to be honest, I'd probably go through a centralized exchange just because it's, like, safe in the context of, like, there are people that are held accountable if it goes wrong. I'm being blunt and honest in this sense in this current moment, you know?
Yeah,
Well,
it
they're
makes
even just
sense.
even an OTC desk. Like, you think that much money, you've got a personal relationship with a white glove trader,
Right.
right? Like it's
Yeah, and you get, like, really great deals at that kind of volume,
yeah.
you know?
But
If I'm being honest.
I agree with you about like celebrating too soon. That's why in the past, whenever I see these big trades, I personally am just like, well, let's just not maybe talk about it too much. But since everyone's been talking about it, I just kind of assumed like, well, everyone seems to be okay with it. Maybe it's all good because I have no insight either. Um, but I feel like we usually find out pretty quick if it's like if
Yeah,
it's associated, and I've not heard anything yet. So um,
yeah, I haven't heard anything either.
To be
I should
determined,
just
I guess.
I'm
But
just fearing the scenario where, like, something
what
comes out and then you have people like Zach XBT or other people who are like just start yelling about, "Oh, you're celebrating nefarious." We saw this in the past, and it's, like, annoying as hell.
I was wondering if what if it's something totally different? What if it's a trust wallet trying to promote trading in trust wallet and be like, hey, look, you can do $20 million trade Bitcoin in trust wallet, like and they're
Yeah,
trying to
that'd be
showcase
interesting.
that.
that's an interesting
Yeah.
theory.
I
I mean,
think
they should definitely roll with that, even if it's not their money or whatever. They should, like and it should definitely be part of their marketing materials. Hey, you can trade $100 million in Trust Wallet, and it works just fine.
well, have they promoted it? Has trust wallet tweeted anything about
I
this?
not that I'm not paying close attention to this stuff, to be honest with you. Like, I'm not sitting on I don't really spend much time on Twitter personally. Too busy with other more practical, real things. But, like, maybe I would if I were them. I'd be like, just gives your community and your, more confidence that that they can move real value. Because I think the connotation is that you can't move, large trades. There's not enough liquidity in DEXs and all the liquidities on Binance and Coinbase. And there's some truth to that in some sense, but, like, obviously we're proving it, wrong. I mean, we even saw like a trade. Like this is probably one of the most fascinating trades we've ever had on THORChain. So, like if there was some pool, I want to say it was like the WBDC pool. Maybe I'm mistaken. And it was like the pool itself was like $4 million, and then somebody traded $6 million through a $4 million pool, and like that was like to me that's incredible. The fact that you can trade larger than the pool size and still get amazing execution
That's what we
is.
have here. That's what we have here. Let me get the numbers. Okay, I got the numbers right here. I'm going to quote here from Dev Discord. This swap with 323 Bitcoin to 8,800 Ethereum, and the pools only have 216 Bitcoin and 2,560 Ethereum. That is almost 4x on Ethereum, and that's over 50%, one like what you said, Chad, on the Bitcoin.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Incredible.
even know that. Yeah, it's pretty amazing, isn't it? All because of the efficiency of streaming swaps makes it all possible. It's
Wow.
incredible.
Yeah. Gosh dang, this is so. Kenton. Okay, we have Trust Wallet hasn't talked about it, and to Chad's point, let's be a little careful. Let's wait a little bit of time, make sure these funds are legitimate. But Kenton, maybe this is because if this is good money, this is a very important historical moment. I wonder if Trust Wallet would be interested in doing a space with us, and we can just talk about it and celebrate it. Maybe. What do you think? You think that's possible?
You know what? I have a better idea. Why don't we reach out to Trust Wallet, see if they'll do a space with us to talk about this?
Right. Exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
I'm teasing you, man. I'm joking with you. Yeah, I think
Dude,
yeah.
I thought
That's
I was having
exactly
a
the
stroke.
It took you a while to catch on. Yes, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah. TC intern, if you're listening, can you maybe DM them? And 'cause I don't have any contacts there. No, Patriot, if you have any, I don't know if you know anyone there.
I
Um,
think, the people at Nine Realms do, like, reach out to, like, I think Orion or Familiar Cow if they don't,
okay.
or maybe even I do. You know what? I don't even pay that close attention to my, Telegram that much just 'cause like I said before, I'm busy with other things. Uh, oh, yeah, I am in a group with Trust Wallet, so maybe I can reach out.
There you go. There you go. That's really cool. How exciting, you guys. This would be, I mean, that for yeah, they would want to do it because it's such an incredible amount of money that they swapped within their app, the amount of money they earned. And it just shows like it goes to their ethos. We are trustful. You can trust us with unbelievably sized swaps in our own app. I mean, game over for them. That's absolutely wickedly awesome.
Kenton, I just added you to the Telegram group,
Oh baby. Oh baby.
so if you wanna, like, you can take off from there and see if you can get some interest in doing a co-space.
Are you guys so
Awesome.
excited
Thank
in
you.
the audience? You guys are listening to this go down in real time. This is so unbelievably cool. I could riff on this new big swap all day, but Chad, I do have a couple questions from the
Sure.
community. Um, okay, this is something that I have been getting blown up on all week. Okay. And I'm getting blown up by people on X who are not even necessarily part of a Thor chain. They're figuring out Thor chain. They're looking. The question typically is when Monero. Now, that's not the real question I want to ask you, when Monero, because I know we've talked about that before. But this is coming from a node operator. I don't want to say who they are. You could probably easily figure out who it is. But the main question is, a lot of people are asking about Monero. The libraries have since improved since Black Protocol it came about, right? Um, can we add Black Protocol code that the libraries improve? Can we have the return of Heimdall, an OG dev of THORChain? Maybe some people don't know who he is, absolute legend. Do you think that is something that can happen, the return of Heimdall for this one task? That's
Uh,
the question.
for people who don't know, Heimdall and I were like really like the two technical devs on Thorchain in the very beginning. And so like, him and I have known each other for a long time, and we worked closely together for many years. And a great engineer. The guy is like really great at like, especially like tracking down bugs and doing like root cause analysis. Like he's fantastic at that. He's really really good. And I remember like years ago, he was working with JP to put together like a branch on GitLab where it does like the Monero support stuff, which is like a ton of work because you have to add so much complexity to THORChain to support. It's not as simple as just like adding another chain like, in the typical sense. Like you have to like figure out like view keys and like just it's like a really complicated thing, which is really why you probably haven't seen a lot of Monero like in other competing dexes like Near or Chainflip because it's very very technically complex and it also comes with like arguably the highest like concerns from like a government perspective because they don't like Monero for obvious reasons. um yeah, so Heimdall's like he's still like around in the sense that like he's not working on THORChain, hasn't worked on for quite a while, but he's still like friendly with the project. Convincing him to come back to contribute to this one thing is not far fetched. I don't know if he'd do it or not, but it's not too far fetched. In terms of like using the multi-sig capabilities that's built in Monero, if the devs are saying that it's now safe, because back last time I looked at it, the devs are recommending to not use their own multi-sig. They said there was just too many exploits, too many issues. I'm hesitant to do that. I mean, I prefer just to use the same cryptographic system we've been using the whole time that we know is with a very great deal of confidence that it's very safe and secure because it's been around for so many years. And there is an interest to like we like to move away from GG20 towards something called DKLS, which is a newer cryptography that's even more secure than the GG20 in my opinion. And that is definitely like a long term goal of the project. When is Monero gonna get launched? I don't it's hard to say. Hopefully this year. But it's a matter of like prioritization. Like what's the top 5 most important things to work on? Is Monero in that list? Probably not with like, intense and not from my perspective of an intense and what's it called? Opt-in security, which is probably a requirement to get Monero going, is opt-in security because Monero is such a like a there's a lot of contention around whether or not we should add Monero. Like historically, we've always kind of like been a hot debate in the community. I've always been a supporter myself. But once you have opt-in security, that kind of removes the conflict around adding it or not adding it because then each individual validator can just choose to support Monero or not, and then it will just work just fine. Um, I don't know. I'm okay with Protocol if the funds are small. Like if the pool is shallow and doesn't get to like the Bitcoin pool size, I think I'd be okay with it if if it's a shallow pool. If it had like a couple $100,000 in it, yeah, I think I'd be okay with that because even if there was some sort of exploit, we're not losing millions of dollars. We're losing a couple 100,000 at most.
I
So
sent.
I
Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, Chad. I sent you the link you don't have to look at it right now of the specific point in question because your point was excellent because we don't want to distract the current devs from what they're doing. That's why the node operator one know of Heimdall would make a legendary return. I don't know if you saw that thread in Dev Discord in the general section where basically it's like 20 plus people just chanting out Heimdall's name. The whole list of people was so cool to see. Um, so that's kind of what they want to distract because you're right. And if we could have him to come back and just give it a shot, because I am seeing this absolutely everywhere. I'm having people reach out to me. People want Monero on Thorchain. They really it's really hotly asked for right now.
Yeah, no, I get it, and I want it too. I've been advocating it myself for a long time. Getting kind of like come on, that's something I'd have to reach out to him, or JP and I would have to have a conversation with him and see if he's willing to step back in the fold. And I don't know what's going on in his life. I don't know if he's busy or not busy or what. Like I don't know what that is, but possibly. I can't say it one way or the other. I haven't spoken to him in a while.
Of course, of course. Yeah, no pressure on you whatsoever. But that's the question. It's a hype train right now. Everyone has just got thirsty for Heimdall for for some reason. So I sent you their link too of the thread. It's just really funny. I just love how spontaneous that was. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. Let me see here. I don't think I have too many questions. You guys, this is a big, big space. If you guys go to the THORChain Telegram, you can ask any question you want. Of course, people can request to ask direct questions whatsoever. But yeah, man, this has been really great week. I'm so on. How do you feel? Like I want to ask again. I want to know personal satisfaction. How do you feel internally just seeing what's going on through Thorchain right now? Does that give you deep satisfaction, or are you hungry for more? You're like, this could be better. I'm not satisfied. Like, how do you internalize it?
I mean, for me, I see it as a validation of the design. That's how I see it. The fact that somebody can make a massive trade, the fact that somebody has made the train, like somebody made the conscious choice that they wanted to swap $100 million, and they chose to come to Thorchain of all places. That's like it's a validation of the community. It's a validation of the product. It's a validation of our reliability. Validation of a lot of different things. I think that's what I take out of it more than anything else. And I do look forward to, like, as Kenton kind of alluded to earlier, that, like, in a more bullish market, we're gonna naturally gonna see more volume, I presume. And with that, you're gonna get, like, maybe more of these massive trades, and more validation.
I do have a question now, and I totally agree with you, by the way. So people were interesting because me and Coke have been playing with this, and I've got other questions too. Long tail assets on Memolist. If we talked about this before, I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly what we said, but there are some assets that Memolist does not support. I know we got Rune support coming. Are all long tail assets coming at some point? Could you maybe talk a little bit about that?
For Menelaus?
Yes, sir. Yes. I don't.
Yeah. I think the only reason why Memlist doesn't work for other assets, and it's predominantly just the what's it called, the ERC20 types, right? Like all the gas assets work. To my knowledge, like secondary assets on like other chains that are not EVMs, believe works, but I'm not 100% sure of that, so don't quote me on it. But it just requires, I think, a router v6 upgrade, which is something we've been talking about doing in our weekly engineering meetings for a while now, and we keep on talking about getting it done and getting it done, and then not getting done and wanting to get it done. So I think once router v6 gets adopted, I think then we can do memolist for ERC20s and that kind of thing. Any arbitrary asset should work in theory.
Very cool. I think that'll also help because with the Coke and I were doing a video and we picked an asset that wasn't supported and we're like, oh, okay, well, this is something we definitely can prove. So glad to hear. That's awesome. Kenton, did you have something you wanted to add?
Uh, yeah, Patreon. People that don't know, Patreon are messaging each other in Telegram. I'm trying to post something to this space. I'm trying to post my tweet for the links to LinkedIn, Facebook, and TikTok, where people can go and follow those pages.
I got you,
Y-
brother. I shared it. I'm
y-
gonna get it. So it's we acquired the Thorchain handles.
Yeah,
Yep, I
yeah.
got it above. Yeah,
Um,
I got you.
and then TC intern, if you're listening, if you can, over the next couple days, maybe I'll talk to you later. But maybe we should maybe post these a few times and try and get some followers there. Try to get it going. Thanks. There you go. I see it now, Patriot. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, brother. And yeah, guys, let's for those who are just tuning in, we need to hit certain follower thresholds on Facebook. I believe it's 1,000 for Facebook and 1,000 for TikTok. So help us get to 100. We definitely have more than 100 people active in this community. Tell your friends, share it to your various node operator groups. Say, hey, if you're on Facebook, just follow this. Let's get that three digits. That way we can get marketing going. This is how we all work together to get the show rolling here, get the wheels turning on Thorchain. We have a lot to do this year. We're hitting the ground running, guys. So super exciting. I'm still on the lookout, guys, for questions. We've been chatting about the record setting day, this record setting week, I should say. Um, uh, do you have anything on your mind, Chad, that you want to discuss? Anything? Oh, the Hugin. Let's talk about the Hugin AI. How's that going?
It's going pretty well. It's actually been really fascinating because um, there's been a sudden influx of bug report bounties to our security team, um, since like Christmas, basically. And we're realizing that a lot of these bug reports are just like the things that like Hugin's already found, right? And so it tells me that there's, like, I guess because of the holiday season, people are, off of work and they have more, like, free time. And then also, Claude Anthropic doubled the caps, of using their LLM. So that there seems to be like a big push in just like the general, you know, security industry to use Claude or something like it to, analyze random code bases, not random, but just specific code bases, and find issues, and then use those as kind of pathways to, um, you know, uh, report bug bounties. So, like the timing that I had to build this Fugan bot and start to find these things, kind of funnily, comically, just kind of coincident, it happened more or less the same time as like everybody else, more or less. So that's what it seems like to me, at least. So, um, myself and the security team have been going through a lot of these kind of things that Hugan found. Vast majority of them are like not even issues; they're just false positives. I'm actually surprised like how many false positives we get through, using these kind of AI models. Like it's more frequent than I would have guessed before doing it, which just tells me that there's just additional work that needs to be done to like reduce the false positive, reduce the noise, increase the signal, kind of thing. And so I'm going to be, actively working on that over the next, quarter or two. But it's going like really well, and it's found like a bunch of things. Most of them are like non-issues, like either not even the false positives. Like it's actually found something that like could be deemed to be an exploit, but it's not an exploit because of this other part of the code that the Claude system didn't even realize or look at. But it's still good to patch anyway, even though it's not an actual exploitable, exploit in a sense, but still good to do it anyway, just be, completist about it. But yeah, it's now like producing its own PRs. I think we only got one merge already and more coming. And we're going to be doing a lot of work around like improving its ability to like do it more effectively. So like one example for I wanted to think about doing is like getting multiple agents to work on the same issue. So it kind of reminds me of the old movie Minority Report. You guys remember that film with Tom Cruise back in the day, Minority Report?
Yes.
And they
Yep.
and they had that like the precogs. Remember the precogs? It was like two twins, and then Agatha, I think, was the name of the female precog, and she was the stronger of the three or whatever. And it's like they collectively work together to define whether there's going to be a murder in the future. Do you know what I mean? That makes sense.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what
Hopefully
you're
this
talking about.
makes sense to people, and I'm not just like, being confusing as all hell. But like, I kind of thought they did like something similar where you get like, a bunch of different LLMs, Claude and Gemini and, Codex and whatever else. And they they find some sort of issue, and they try to convince each other. They have a conversation, a little round table conversation, and they try to convince each other that this is an issue, or they convince each other that this is not an issue. It's actually not an exploit because of this, or it is an exploit because of that, or it's not even exploit, just like this is a bug in the code that should be fixed or whatever. And then they go through that and they do it several times each. So when validating if something is a false positive, then it evaluates the same thing several times, like best out of five, let's say, so that it even further reduces its like noise to signal ratio, so they have much more signal, a lot less noise. So these are some things I've been kind of thinking about to just to get the system to behave, more with more precision and more accuracy, not only just to establish what an issue might be, but also maybe in part of the developing process as well. So that when it's producing a code change, that it uses several agents together to collectively review its own code, or plan how it's going to make this particular change, and they convince each other what the plan should be, just to kind of create like a collective intelligence that hopefully performs better than any one would do on its own. I don't know if that makes sense to people. This is my thought that I'm kind of considering of like building out, to help just make it even more efficient, or more effective as a tool to help, us find problems and fix them, and monitor mainnet for potential issues.
Makes sense to me. I mean, there's so many models out there. You got Claude, you got Anthropic, you got all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I think it's a really interesting idea. I'm curious. I know you're still going through the things that are being submitted, but how many? Maybe they're not the biggest things in the world. Maybe they're just like slight improvements or just slight redundancies in code. But how many positive things would you say he has found so far, even if they're not even that big of a deal, roughly?
Um, I'd say probably like one or two. Like Initially, it found like hundreds of GitLab issues or hundreds of potential bugs. Then I made some code changes to make it more resistant to false positives, and it went down to like 100 or so. And then myself and the security team, we started just kind of like going through them one by one and manually just trying to confirm or deny or whatever the legitimacy of whatever the claim was. And we found like a lot of them were, even though like it would probably cut it down another half or so of so like this is not really an issue. And then like of the ones that were an actual issue, a lot of them were just like what I was explaining earlier, where that's like, yeah, technically like this code could validate this thing or check this thing before going forward. That would be a good thing to do. It's not really an exploit because this thing is validated or checked before, in this earlier part of the code or maybe even later part of the code, depending upon the scenario. So it wasn't like a big issue or anything like that. But no, you should check it anyway, right? Like security should be an onion. It should be layered. And so, you're not just reliant on one specific part of the code to be the crux of your security. You want, layers of it throughout the entire system so that if there are, if you miss one, another one will catch it later on. So we'll make those changes like, in the nearest future. But in the end, like I would say there was like one or two like good bugs, and the rest of them were either false positives or, misdiagnoses of things. Because like when I was doing this initially, I was asking the Hugon to look for like what we call P0 or P1 issues. Like P0 is like funds are at risk, the network could be halted, funds could be lost because of this trade bug, whatever. And then P5 would be like very trivial, very small things, right? It's like priority list. P0 is highest, P5 is lowest. So I told like to only look for P0, only look for P1. Don't worry about P2, 3, 4, 5. Like we can do that like another day. Let's just stay focused on like the highest priority things for now. And then once we burn through all the P0 and P1 bugs, we'll probably like, turn on P2 and then start burning through those, in that kind of sequential order. So it found a lot of things, but very little of it was actually like a significant problem.
Yeah. So let's say it finds a P0 P1 issue. It's going to secretly tell you about it first, right? Like it doesn't make anything public. Is that how it works? Like it finds some critical bug and then
Right.
yeah.
So what it does is it creates a GitLab issue with confidentiality turned on. So you can create GitLab issues
Gotcha.
that are private and that the only people who can see it are like developers like myself, for example. Maybe for like, P2 or P3, you can just like make it public because those aren't going to be, significant issues. Although you could make an argument that it's miscategorizing this thing. It thinks it's a P3, but in reality, it could be a P0 or something like kind of false analysis or making a mistake in the analysis of what the priority should be. But right now, it just doesn't. All the issues that it creates are done in a private fashion, and then humans get to go in there and like review it all and close issues that are not really a problem or whatever. And then we can assign the task to the Hugon bot. There's a little like when a GitLab issue, you can like assign it to somebody. Like this is your task to fix this issue, whatever this issue is. And so then the human can come in and like assign it, you know, to Hugon. And then Hugon has its own little script that it runs that like will like pull issues that it needs to work on, and open up a PR that or merge request to address that concern. And then humans go in, review the code change, and I can get in there, and I've already done it a few times where I can like comment and say, hey, this is great, but you missed this, or don't forget about that or whatever. And then it'll read the comment and it'll like make a change and update the PR again. And I can comment again and hit approve and eventually hit the merge button. So humans are still part of it, the critical components and parts of the system. At least it is for now. And so yeah. To answer your question, I think I've answered it.
Yeah, you did. 100%. Yeah. Okay. Very
Yeah.
cool. That's the only possible thing I could think of. And I figured that was going to be the answer anyway, but got to ask. Okay, guys, I'm looking for questions in the audience. I'm not seeing any. A lot of people, we did talk about
I
the
I
go ahead,
I have
Kevin.
a question. Yeah. Remember Patriot? We had Paul Pui from Edge Wallet on last week, and he had a question for you, Chad,
Mhm.
or for THORChain in general. Is when you do a large streaming swap, if like the price moves in like the first like swap or two fails, chances are
Mhm,
all the rest fail, but you got to
mhm.
wait however many hours for it to go through before it you can re-enter your trade. And he was
Mhm.
wondering, is there I'm pretty sure this is question and comment. Is there any way to like, if the swap fails in the first few attempts, few blocks or whatever, can the whole thing just be canceled instead of waiting the few hours to go through all the different tries? Does that make
Um,
sense?
yeah. So, I've had some thoughts on this lately, um, out of coincidence to some degree. Yes, it is possible to do something like that. The simple answer is yes, it's possible to do something like that. Um, I'm not sure if it's because, I mean, what is the analysis that decides to do, like, how many swaps, like, if it's, do you wanna just hard set it, like, if the first 3 swaps, first 30%, because that could be 1 swap or 30 swaps or 100 swaps or whatever, and does that change the analysis and, all that kinda stuff? I think the better way to do it, the better solution to it, I'm thinking, is just that being able to cancel those transactions. 'Cause right now when you do a market swap, it's kind of fire and forget. There's not really an ability to like cancel it or change your market swap after the fact. And so like, that's kind of, I think that's the root of it more than anything else, like giving you the ability to cancel if you choose to. And I think what's like what I've been thinking about lately, and this is not like high priority, so I'm not gonna be like rushing to do this, but like I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to like really simplify our swapping kind of like world in some sense. Like we started off with like that's like straight up swaps, and then we went to like streaming swaps, and then there's like limit orders, and then after like and there's like editing those limit orders, and then there's like also the idea of doing like we've talked about adding DCA swaps, so you could do like long term trades that like slowly buy into an asset or sell out of an asset. And like, but all of these things are like really the same thing with just different, this like it's the same thing with the same attributes, just different values for those attributes, right? Like a DCA is the same thing as a streaming swap with just a higher, interval. Instead of being like every block, it's every 10,000 blocks or however speed you want your DCA trade to be, and like a limit swap is the same thing as a market swap, except for it, it just doesn't, instead of like trying 10 times and canceling, it tries 10 times and keeps on trying until it gets the execution that it wants. Like these things are like, they're all kind of the same thing, with just small little differences between them. And we have these different terminologies for like these different scenarios. And it's just like I'm thinking to myself like maybe what we should be doing is just like a refactor of the swapping logic, and so that everything's just a swap with the same attributes, and you can just use attribute A or B or C, like a limit order, like a specific price you want, and don't give me anything back until you get the price that I want. Everything can be canceled or modified after the fact. Just like everything just being like a swap, and then you can just get whatever behavior you want just by, pulling the knobs and the lever of a single swap kind of interface. Does that make sense? Am I kind of, I'm not sure if I'm being clear in the way that I'm communicating here, but I might be like poised to kind of refactor our swapping system to be not like just to be like a single swapping mechanism that has a few different levers you can pull on that can achieve almost any kind of output or behavior that you want. You know?
I think I understand. But isn't that kind of the point of app layer? Is that that'll be more granular there? Um,
Well, the app layer like can do whatever they want. To me, I'm just thinking about the layer one base layer, and I'm thinking to myself that like maybe this is a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, and we can just simplify it. And to be honest, it's really more like simplifying the code more than it is anything else. We have this like different pathways within the code for, a streaming swap that will, behave a little bit differently in that scenario, and a limit swap behaves differently in this scenario, and this happens in that. It just like makes the code a little bit more complicated. So maybe I'm just thinking more from a technical coding perspective than an actual something else. But I don't know. It's something I'm going to continue to think on and ponder on in the coming months. But like once we get to a place where we get to ossification, and we're just looking to shore up our current thing and not really, and just trying to make the foundations more stable and solid, blah blah blah. That I'm considering the idea of like refactoring just to make the code a lot more simpler, and then just call everything is a swap, and and you can just has some lever attribute that you can get whatever behavior you want. I don't know. That's just a thought.
Well, I mean, it sounds good to me. I mean, the user will have as much uh, choice as they want, right? A much,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's like they have a lot of choice to pull whatever levers they want, and it's up to the UI to expose whatever levers they choose to expose to keep it simple for like simple swaps or really complicated for like hardcore traders. Like it's up to the UI to kind of figure out what they want to do.
got it. Actually, this makes me think of something else. So, I was kind of going through the uh, priority list of things on the front end, and the next, like after limit swap, we're working on limit orders, the ability to do permalinks, so like Bitcoin to Ethereum, Dogecoin, AVAX, and have it pre-populate in the on the swap interface, so we can use those links for like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap and stuff, and
Oh,
then
that's nice.
be able to adjust the streaming settings. So that's kind of what should be coming out in the next couple weeks. And after
That would
that,
just
we
be
want
that would just be query args, right? You would just put up some query args in the URL to determine what the source address is, but target address, target asset is, so forth and so on.
sure.
Or are you talking about permalinks, like in the sense of maybe this is too technical to get into right now, actually. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And I'm going on a bit of a tangent. I'm just letting you guys know kind of what's we're working on now. But the next thing after that will be like actually have all the features like bonding, pooling, and all that kind of stuff. And I was looking at going through everything, and I came across Rune Pool, and I'm personally not a fan of Rune Pool, and I was thinking, what you just said earlier, the UI can decide what they show to the user, and
Yeah,
I'm wondering, and I was thinking, well, should we only just show withdraw for Rune Pool, or should we also show deposit? And
I
and
thought room pool was being. Maybe I'm mistaken though. I thought room pool was going to be decommissioned or something, or am I confusing it?
Well, I hope so, and I think that was always kind of part of the plan, but I don't think nothing's happened. Um,
Yeah,
and I'm pretty sure you can still deposit into it. I could be wrong,
I
but
could be wrong too. I'm not sure.
yeah, and so in my mind, like if we're gonna show this to our users, should we only show withdraw? And then if somebody really wants to deposit, they can do that through like a memo. They can write their own custom memo or something, or being the official front end, is it kind of on us to show every possible feature? Um, I'm curious what you guys
I
think.
mean, I would lean towards every possible feature. I think room pool. I thought room pool was in the similar boat as THORFi in the sense that it was all being retired and you know, but maybe I'm mistaken. I'm not sure. I wasn't even around at the time that all these conversations were being had. But if that's the case, then yeah, you withdraw only. I guess I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that was my memory serves me. Rune Poo was kind of thrown in there, like let's just get rid of it and clean up THORChain. And I think there's general consensus on it, but I think um, I think just nothing got done because it was just like
Yeah, yeah.
it was just too much work and effort and like I think if I remember correctly, I think the idea was the yeah that we were gonna yeah, how did it work? I'm gonna stop talking. I forget. Um, but I know we did talk about it last year, and I'm pretty sure it just kind of went nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can look on the chain right now and see if it's look at the mirrors and see if there's anything that's turning it off or anything. Um, doo-doo-doo. Um,
I see Rune Pool enabled one, so that means it's
yeah,
still open, right?
I guess. Uh, uh, I'll just ask AI because like I'm a lot slower than the AI
I'm
is.
glad you don't know off the top of your head, Chad, because whenever I go through it, I'm like, "Oh, man, yeah, I gotta always remember and refresh how it works." Um, so if you gotta do it too, I'm not feeling so bad.
No, no, no. I mean, it's a lot of code, a lot of things, and so I don't blame anybody for not knowing all things at all time.
And the things I learn, I often forget. There's a lot of things you got to put in your brain in THORChain, and now with the your
Yeah,
app layer, it's crazy. I do have a. Oh,
it's
go ahead, Chad.
yeah. So it is enabled in this current moment. So you could deposit if you wanted to. I think, although I'm not sure if everybody wants to or not, but it is there. So it still exists one form or another.
Well, I'm wondering if while things are kind of quiet in Discord, I wonder if we should start a vote maybe to disable deposits and just start winding it down. Um,
Yeah, maybe that might be the right thing to do. I don't actually quite know off the top of my head. I think it requires a deeper conversation with the rest of the devs and the team to think about what its future is.
Sounds good
because
to me.
at least if we disable deposits, oh, I think, well, not maybe, yeah, room pool enabled. I think if we change that to 0, that might prevent withdrawals as well.
Yeah, that might.
I
It
think
might.
that maybe that's what it was.
Maybe
So,
that's why it is. If that's the
yeah,
case, we should make a code change that creates 2 mirrors, like one for, deposits and one for withdrawals.
yeah. Okay. Well, I don't wanna, I know people are busy, so if that's the case, I don't wanna make a big thing out of it. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no,
but, yeah,
I
go
do
ahead,
have I
Patriot.
do have a question here. It is a follow-up on XMR Monero. It's from Max Power. He says, "Why
Okay.
why don't we do a classic multi-sig for a small XMR pool similar to the, I don't know, WAGU, the Wagyu cow guy? He coded this all in small time. Why not? Oh yeah, oh I know what he's talking about. He coded this in a small time. Why not even make him participate until we can figure out a real Asgard vault for XMR code?"
Well, adding Monero to THORChain is not just about the cryptography at all. Like, that is a component of it for sure. But, like, there's a lot of THORChain code that needs to be changed. And that's not even, like, the chain client thing. So, like, we have, like, within the THORChain code base, there's primarily 2 different code bases. There's more, but primarily 2. And that is the Bifrost code, and that is the Thor node code. The Thor node code is the actual blockchain that has, like, that is the actual things that all the we validate on for the nodes. And then there's the Bifrost code, which is the code that stares at and observes transactions on external chains and signs transactions and, like, does primarily 2 things for the most part. And whenever we add a new chain, there's almost no code we need to make on the Thor node side. There's definitely a little bit, but it's very, very small and very, very easy. Almost all of the work is just doing the chain client itself. And I think if we were to add a Monero, it's not just a bunch of Bifrost changes, it's also a significant amount of Thor node changes as well. So it's not just about the how do we securely store the Bitcoin in a cryptographically secure kind of way. And I don't even know if using the multi-sig is even an option for us because we have usually multi-sig have a limit on, like, um, signatories you can have in a multi-sig. I think for, like, Bitcoin, I think the max is, I wanna say I wanna say, like, 18 or 19 or, like, somewhere in that vicinity. You can't have a multi-sig larger than that many. And it's different per chain. Like, every chain has, like, a different amount. And I don't even know what the amount is for Monero. Like, if it was, like, let's just say it was 15, well, our ASCII pulls are 20. So, that's not gonna work out so well. So there's a lot of, like, questions about whether it's even possible in our scenario. I have to do, like, a deeper dive into it. But it's not just about the cryptography, it's about the Bifrost change, and uniquely, it's also about a large amount of Thor node changes, dealing with the decrypting of the information.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, Max Power, because it just shows there's a lot of complexity with this. It's just not a simple plug and play. I think everyone knows that, but even a good nuanced question like that, there's a whole onion to unravel about exactly how to make it work. So, interesting question for sure. And okay, in this Telegram group, people are really excited about you talking to Heimdall again. I just let you know again, Chad.
Yeah.
They're thirsty for that man. So yeah. If you
It's funny.
if
I haven't seen him in a long time. Like we worked side by side together. Not even, sorry, we didn't work side by side together for because like when I was building THORChain in the early days, I was living in Australia with JP, not at his house necessarily, but in the same city. And he was living in a different city in Australia at that time. And so I had never even met him in person. And I didn't, and I met him eventually. We did this like THORChain meetup in Bangkok a couple of years ago, just as a every developer that was a part of the project just got together because we've never been together as a team before. And I was like, I think that's the only time I've ever actually met him in person. And I would love to give that guy a big giant hug again if I could.
That's so cool. I know nothing about him, obviously, and for good reason. But he's if you're listening to this recording, man, you are an absolute chat. I remember him submitting his little code, like him talking about his pushes to get like the guy's like a machine. Like he's inhuman machine. He's incredible. Like he looks like an AI talking on Dev Discord. I'll never forget reading. I'm just like, man, this guy's on a whole nother planet. Like he's just a savage, when it comes to coding. So very cool human.
Yeah, very awesome. Great dev, great person to work with, good personality, easy to work with. I love him. Great guy.
And let's see here. I got some people are asking questions here. Okay, no, I can't formulate that into a question. Okay. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I made efforts.
I know. um,
Well, hopefully, with when we move to Riverside, I think we'll have a live chat box. So if people type stuff, we should all be able to read it, and then we can you won't have to interpret it for us. We should all be able to see it.
yeah,
So that'll be
that
yeah.
helps. Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting. I think people seeing the face will definitely get more eyes on THORChain. So I'm really excited to do that, and it just makes the content more engaging, right? When you've got real humans looking at each other, laughing. Because right now we're just a bunch of dudes like talking at a mic. It's not super thrilling, But but yeah, very cool. Kenton, did you have anything else at all? I'm waiting for questions, guys. If we got nothing else, this has been a wonderful space, record-setting week. But if we got nothing else, maybe we can close down early because me and Coke got work to do. we got some videos to shoot.
I feel the same
All
way.
right.
I've got like about 14 things that are half done right now. So I'm happy to yeah put a pin in it. Unless
Well, all right.
unless Chad, you've got something else you want to keep going on.
I got a question for you two guys, and it requires an answer. What is the best movie trilogy of all time?
Lord of the Rings. I think it's Lord of the Rings. I think so.
Trilogy. That one's tough. Um, well, I don't honestly, it's probably Star Wars.
The
Um,
original
The
trilogy?
original
Yeah.
one.
It's a
Okay,
the original,
that's a good
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
answer.
It's a good pick.
That's a
It's
good
a good
yeah.
pick.
pick.
I
Yeah,
mean, Empire is awesome. Um, yeah. I was gonna say the Matrix, but I mean, I don't know.
it
I
fell
actually
off.
like. Well,
It fell
a
off.
lot of people that hate the second and third, but I still like them, but definitely not the best.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Indiana Jones, that was pretty good. Um,
Oh, yeah, it's a great trilogy.
um, I don't know about anything more recent. But yeah, I think Star Wars still holds up.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I was gonna say Lord of the Rings too because there's I don't know if people know this, there's like a 25th anniversary of Lord of the Rings. You can go see the, extended version
Those are the
of
key.
the
You got to
films,
see the
and
extended versions. They're so much better.
in theaters. You
Absolutely.
can go to, like, AMC or Regal Theaters and see the original films, in extended version. So I have, like, a plans this weekend with some friends to have, like, a movie marathon at the theater. That's what made me think about the question, but yeah, Lord of the Rings was one of the best.
Yeah,
I'm actually a big fan of the John Wick films. Like, they're not very, like, they're kinda hollow, but they're so much fun to watch.
yeah,
So when I
absolutely.
Totally, and they came out pretty far apart, right? And I watched, like I did, like, John Wick 4 or something now, but, and I as it's going on, I'm like, after 2nd or 3rd, I'm like, it's just kinda more of the same," and, like, it's getting kinda boring.
Yeah.
But then I actually watched them all in a row, like, one day after another, and it was
Mhm.
awesome because they stuck to the storyline so well, and it actually is um it's like only a few days have passed type thing. Like, so when you actually watch them that close together, you remember the storyline better, and so it makes the 2nd
Yeah.
and 3rd one that much more interesting because they're referring. Because if you don't remember what happened in the previous movies, then it kinda sucks because you forget the story. So watch.
That's the thing, is like nothing happened in the previous movies because it has like no plot line to it.
Well,
It's
it
just
but
like
it does.
guy with gun beats up people, right? That's like the entire plot line right there. It's like the Taken films with like Liam Neeson, where he's just like, "This is no story here." His daughter gets kidnapped for the nth time, and he just goes beats up some like Albanian guys, and that's like the whole storyline. And I don't care. It's fun.
Oh man, and
Are you
I love
gonna Chad, are you gonna dress up for the Lord of the Rings movies?
I am actually. I am.
Frodo. You're gonna be Frodo.
I I did the Gandalf because I'm tall and
Oh
skinny. I
yeah,
just
that's
thought that
perfect.
Gandalf would make more sense. So I got a wig and I got like a long pipe. This is the cheapest crap on Amazon. So it's not like expensive or anything. But like and just like this long kind of like pipe weed. If you're familiar with the films, like they smoke the South Farthing weed in the film. I'm not sure if you're familiar that much with it, but
Yes.
anyways, I thought it'd be funny just to go to the movie with the pipe and in a Gandalf, wig on, just for giggles.
Yeah.
You might even be underdressed. Oh, sorry, Patriot.
No, I was gonna say Chad is tall. I've hung out with him a few times in real life. I'm almost 6 foot, I'm like 5'11", and I look like a baby next to him. Like it's embarrassing. So that's perfect that you're Gandalf. I forgot how tall Gandalf. Well, of course, he's with hobbits, right? I would be your hobbit if we were to go. We do have a speaker that did join up. Scott, how you doing, Scott? What do you got for us?
Hey, you guys. Boy, I was I was missing these spaces over the holidays and just thinking about the project and stuff. It's so good to hear everyone back. I've a few questions and a little trip into my fantasy land of what might come down the pipe for us if we decide we want to work on it. Is it okay if I run those things by and take a few minutes?
You absolutely
Sure.
can.
Okay, so first, listening to us talk, Kenton, something that came up really quick just now was where we have these giant swaps. Now, obviously, they're on Thor Wallet, but I'm sorry, Trust Wallet. But would there would there be any value in possibly having someone assigned and putting it out there, to try and attract these whales if possible to say, hey, especially as marketing moves forward, it if you wanna do large swaps with our really efficient streaming swaps, we could save you a lot of money. We have a contact person, our own white glove, almost like an OTC person, who could talk about, who could hold your hand through the process, who could talk about, is there a deal we could give you depending on the volume? Would having someone on tap just in case and kind of having a little script for them set up be something that might be valuable to look at now, but as we go forward, you think?
Um, I think it's a good idea. I like where your mind is going. Like, treat your bigger customers better. Treat your best customers great, right?
Yeah, that's
Um,
what I'm.
um, kind of the way I kind of view it is, well, this is why I think we should have a tiered fee schedule so
Mhm,
that the big trades are automatically get a discount without any human intervention. And then,
okay,
as far as like kind of like the white glove service, that's what I view THORChain community Discord. That they want to go in and talk to somebody and have their hands held, and the kind of nice thing with the community is they try to treat everyone the same, whether you're $1,000 trade or $1 million trade. Um, and so I don't know if maybe in the THORChain community Discord we could have like a whale section, but then how do we prove it? Um, in
mhm,
my mind, like, THORChain is supposed to be, like, more automated and do it yourself,
mhm,
and we should make it and again, just in my mind, kind of the way I've thought about it before your question is, um, we should make it as easy to use for a whale like upfront, and so that they don't need the white glove service. They don't need their handheld. If they can just go do it. And um, but yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's not a bad idea. I just honestly have never really thought further about it.
Well,
Yeah,
you can actually within Discord prove that somebody is a whale or not. We already kind of do it already with our make relay command, where it validates that this person talking is, a node operator, and it does it just by like cryptographically signing a message onto a server that broadcasts it for them. So it is possible to do it if it's something that you're really interested in kind of pulling on.
yeah, it just just popped into my mind, and I thought there, and part of this comes from personal experience. I had some rune, and Kenton had put it out there that he had some space in the server to bond it, and I had no idea how to do it. And Kenton was very nice and really kind of held my hand through the process. And I thought, God, if someone has a lot of money and they're like, well, I do it on these exchanges, but I'm afraid to push this much money through some, decentralized thing. It's like, what if we had a little thing where they could connect with a person who could say, hey, if you're serious, yeah, and just walk them through. But it can't, and obviously it would be ideal if we made it so intuitive that even a normie would come up and go, oh, how simple, boom. So if we get there, I would love for us to not even need to think about that. But this is just one of the things I wanted to throw out there. The the other was a question. I think Chad might know more about this. There was a discussion late last year or mid late last year. And there was a great sketch that they put up about a way to connect Maya Protocol and THORChain. They were using the Ruggira app layer to do it. And what it essentially did, and this may be in the works now, my understanding is there have to be a vote for it to be completed, is it would allow both Maya and THORChain to share all of the assets that they supported, not the intents, but the actual full-on chain support. And that the idea is it would maximize the chain carrying capacity of both. You know, each could use all the others they could hold. And obviously there's going to be a max, something like 20 or 30 chains or however many total we could hold before it just becomes too cumbersome for the project in general. And I don't understand technically how those limits work, but I've heard that thrown out as I've followed both projects. Is that still in the works? Is that still something that people are excited about, or was that just an idea that is kind of on the back burner now? Because it's looked beautiful when they drew the diagram out.
Yeah, I vaguely remember this a while ago. Maybe like it must have been maybe 2 years ago. I remember there was active conversation between myself and JP and the Maya team to
Yeah.
create like a more like close coupling between the two, a dedicated kind of channel to swap back and forth.
Mhm.
Like so if you were to um, I don't know whatever happened to that. If it got deprioritized, or I'm not sure. I don't recall like what the final result of that was. I I, I think there, if you were to bring it up in the dev team now with the Maya protocol now or whatever, there'd probably be a lot of support for the idea. I think there's still like really a lot of like good vibes between the Thorchain devs and the Maya devs, and there's a lot of like positivity between us all, and wanting having a closer integration. I think logically makes sense. Like I can easily make arguments for this personally. So yeah, I think that could definitely be done. I'm not sure if it actually was done or what, because that was a while ago and I can't recall how it ended. But yeah, I think it would make a lot of sense to me to have a closer integration with them.
Oh, yeah, and Chad, this was just this last year. This was in 2025. There was some meeting where, Alux had a picture of him and I think JP and some other devs, and they had just hand drawn it like on a dry erase board that
Yeah.
they would both donate all of their or there would be a connection through Ruggira, and each could access and trade the other's um main chains that they supported. And I thought, my God, that maximizes it for both of them. What a wonderful solution. So yeah, it just sounded like such a good idea. I thought, God, whatever happened to that? I hope they're still thinking about
Yeah.
it.
I haven't heard anything about it in our internal conversations since I came back to the project, which was, maybe that was like 6 months ago or 8 months ago, whatever it was.
Mm,
But I remember having technical conversations about how that would be actually implemented and brainstorming with, I think it was Alux and JP about getting that done. But it's been a while.
okay.
I think I might have to add a little bit here. So from what I understand, this is definitely in the plan, because the app layer is in the roadmap of Maya protocol at the end of this year, approximately. But a lot of work has to be done to make THORChain and Maya protocol similar enough in order that they can send these secured assets via some unique implementation of IBC to each other. I can't really go much deeper than that, but there's just a lot of work to be done so that we can even get to that stage where it's technically possible. From what I understand, it's definitely on the roadmap. It's in the cards. I don't know if THORChain becomes more like Maya or Maya becomes more like THORChain. I don't know enough to comment, but that's from what I remember.
Yeah, that makes sense, what you're saying.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering that so good. I can still be excited about it. The other is I am always like obsessed with the optics of our chain and how we are looking to people who look in and how we come across. And I was looking at post-quantum encryption and obviously came up with my kind of idealized fantasy of what we could be here. And it goes like this. After we have the opt-in chain support and the intents and everything up, if we could do, e- JP had posted about looking at post-quantum cryptography for the multi-sig wallet. And I was thinking if he could accomplish that by the end of this year, if we could get um, post-quantum cryptography in place or quantum resistant for THORChain, and they could do it on Ruggira, uh, this dovetails into another thing that I found so fascinating as I looked at it was every bank, every big financial institution in the world and governments, they are all looking at how to make their stable coins quantum resistant as well. And programmable and everything else. But what I was thinking was it, they've already minted stable coins on Ruggira. Back when they were Kujira, they had them. And I was looking at some of the it's so fascinating. There are a cluster of they exist now quantum resistant cryptocurrencies that you can trade now. They're smaller projects, but you could do them if you search on CoinGecko and stuff. When I poked around their sites, you can, at least the way it reads, you can take their technology and you should be able to mint a quantum resistant stable coin. If we could have a quantum resistant stablecoin, and this may be more of a Ruggira question on Ruggira, and a quantum resistant wallet to keep it in with multi-sig. And then once we have the opt-in chain support, if we could get a few nodes to kind of take one for the team and adopt a small cluster of these quantum resistant cryptos, then what we could say is, hey, come look at THORChain, come look at Ruggira, come look at our community, look at our end-to-end suite of post-quantum trading options. If we could say that, not only would it be a huge feather in our cap, but for the first time in my mind since streaming swaps, we would be off the technological back foot and front running the rest of the market and even the big banks on all this stuff because we would have that. Now, obviously, there's a lot of things would have to happen, right? And this is something that would happen later in the year after all these things like rapid swaps and stuff were put in place. But that could be huge. And it sounded so sexy when I thought of it. I was like, God, I should bring this up and just see is that possible? Have you been behind the scenes kicking around? How do we reach this next level of encryption? Chad, there's the new encryption. You want to adopt for THORChain that you say you think is much more secure, would that support some of these post-quantum cryptography? And I'm way over my skis here because I'm not a mathematician.
Yeah, I'm not a mathematician or a cryptographer myself. I know some about this stuff, but not. I wouldn't consider myself to be an expert by any stretch. Um, so quantum resistance comes at like like a multiple thing. So like for you, we're talking about like quantum resistant cryptos. That's
Mm,
like kind of true. It is kind of false at the same time. So like if you have if you have a quantum resistant crypto on, let's say, Solana or on Ethereum, the ECDSA or EDDSA that kind of secures the chain itself is not going to be quantum resistant. Maybe the coin is resistant, which I don't even know what that really means, to be honest with you.
mm,
Because usually when people talk about quantum resistance, what they're talking about is either being able to brute force your passphrase, right? Your mnemonic phrase,
mhm,
which, by the way, your mnemonic phrase is actually not really the 12 words or 24 words. Really, what it is actually 64 characters, numeric characters, and you just encode those 64 characters with 12 words or 24 words, just that are easy to write down and not typo a D that looks like a six or something like this or whatever. Um, so there's one way that a quantum computer can just guess every permutation of those 64 characters until it finds one that generates a wallet that has crypto in it, like Bitcoin or whatnot. That's like one way to think about it.
mm.
And then you also have the cryptography itself of like ECDSA or EDDSA or these other things. And this is getting into like cryptography, which is outside of my personal expertise. So if we wanted to make THORChain quantum resistant, it would probably mean making a custom fork of the Cosmos SDK that no longer uses ECDSA or EDDSA for that matter, or any other ones that are currently available, and selecting one that is quantum resistant. And to be honest, off the top of my head, and I haven't done the research, and maybe one day I will, just out of fun curiosity. Like I don't even know which cryptography would make the most sense for to be quantum resistant off the top of my head. And then or how much work it would be to refactor the Cosmos SDK to swap out ECDSA for whatever this new cryptography might be. I'm sure I'd be surprised if it was not a lot of work, but maybe it's easier than I imagine. Who knows? Um, but yeah, it like doing something like that would offer no practical value to the community or to the project. It would put a feather in our cap, to use your words.
Yeah. And it was a fun idea to throw out and just see if that's even being talked about now. But maybe that's something 2 years from now that happens. I mean, who knows? But thank you for
To be
listening.
honest,
Oh, go ahead.
that's gonna be longer than 2 years, just because quantum computers are still like not even really real. Like a lot of the times when we hear about Google's Willow or Microsoft's new phase matter, or whatever it's called, new type of matter. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. I used to know it. Like this stuff is largely false. Like it's like bragging about, we think we broke a new barrier. We think we solved a new problem. I mean, there are being improvements being done in quantum computer world, but they're still not really like a real thing. There's just too much errors that happens in the quantum qubits, so that makes them very unreliable. And it's hard to tell how far we are from an actual practical, reliable, usable quantum computer. There's a lot of news that talk about it, but I haven't seen anything that gives me any kind of feelings that it's even around the corner, let alone 5 years away.
Wow. Well, actually, I feel much better about all my encryption not being broken. I've taken up plenty of time, and you guys have been super patient with my my thought experiments or whatever. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Keep up all the good work.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Love you right back, buddy. And thank you very much. Always good. You're a very good speaker and you have good suggestions. I love it. Guys, I think we're gonna approach the final countdown for any questions. I am not seeing any more questions. And Kenton, myself, and Chad, and maybe somebody out there, we all get back to work. So Kenton, do you have anything else you thought of you want to say? Or and if not, maybe we can wrap this up. What about go ahead.
Yeah, give me a second here. I'm gonna do a quick refresh. We got 6 followers on TikTok, and 7 followers on Facebook. So right on, guys. Thanks. Let's bump those numbers
Keep
up.
going.
Yeah. Um, this is cheap. Yeah, I throw your ideas about Facebook and TikTok out the window, right? This is borderline free marketing for us, right? The more different channels we can get our content out there, the better. So, there's no reason just silo it to Twitter when for marginal effort and negligible cost, we can get it into all the channels. So,
Yeah.
um, um, and then also too, if you guys think bigger picture, like, yeah, crypto Twitter is, this is the main, social platform for crypto, but we're expecting a billion more people to get into crypto, and they're not all on Twitter. So, and who cares where they come from? As long as they place a trade on THORChain, I don't care what you're into, what you look like, where you live, what social media you're into. Like, just place your trade on THORChain. So, yeah.
Maybe what we'll do actually to help bump the numbers, uh, Kenton, is that we do platform specific get-togethers just to get people to come onto the channel or whatever, to TikTok or Facebook, whatever, and just get more followers. Like if you and I just start, like if we even just do the Riverside thing you were talking about earlier, and we just start broadcasting, streaming, whatever, like on TikTok alone, we'll get those followers fairly easily, I would say.
Okay, yeah, good idea. Interesting take. Well, let's see how it goes. I feel like Facebook we should be able to get to 100,000
Yeah.
on TikTok might be a bit harder. Um, but let's
It's
see how good
it's
our
not as hard, like, on TikTok, I think I have, like, and I barely even post. I don't, like, I don't post almost at all, like, I haven't done it in a long time. But even I have,
oh, you broke the space, Chad. How many followers you got on TikTok?
I think I have, and then he rugged. That was a very
Yeah.
interesting timing. That's
More
so
reason
funny.
for us to stop using spaces. Is these
Right.
rugs.
Yeah, it's
Um,
unacceptable, you know?
yeah. Hey,
You
back
there,
Chad?
Chad?
yeah, okay, yep, I got dropped somehow.
That's okay. How many followers do you have on TikTok? There's a huge hit cliffhanger.
133, that's a very braggy number, I know. But I don't post really, so I don't know why people are following me if they are.
Well,
Well,
yeah.
hey, Kenton, are you, man, I know we're gonna close the space, but on marketing, I know there's so many things we're doing simultaneously. It's hard to do everything, but maybe if we do crypto conferences, we can have QR codes relative to our social media, and maybe we can hand out free things if follow our Facebook or TikTok or X or whatever. You can get like a wristband or something like that. I don't know, something like that. Maybe we can, because and then we have a specifically targeted crypto audience on these conferences that we attend. So I don't know, something maybe there, something like think about. I'm just formulating real time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of conference, Bitcoin conference reached out to me because of LinkedIn. So because I was updating and cleaning everything up on LinkedIn, I guess, I don't know, started showing up in feeds, and some guy from Bitcoin conference reached out to me about getting THORChain there. And um, and so I have a call with him next week, and I told him too, happy to talk. But last time we were invited to the conference, Chad got, verbally attacked on the panel, and it's not cool. So we'll see. I'm going to talk to him, bring it up. Um, but I do feel like that would be a decent conference for us to be at. So, Chad, I don't know if you're interested in making a reappearance.
No,
Um,
I'll do it. I'll lick my scar and carry on.
all right. But I do expect some kind of, like, I think that's pretty low budget. Like, it's one thing for people to run their mouths on Twitter, but at a conference on stage, you got to mind your P's and Q's. That's not appropriate.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, and this is something I've been talking with in the marketing team. Like, I think we need to stop saying native asset cross chain infrastructure, because no one says that. No one talks like that. We need to start saying the biggest decentralized exchange for Bitcoin, or the best Bitcoin DEX, or whatever. How that's what, when you go to a new city, you look up best breakfast restaurant, right? Like when you're Googling, you want to look up the best Bitcoin DEX. And we are. We're the biggest. We are the best. It's not lying. And so if we kind of bring that message to the Bitcoin conference, that like we are the best DEX for Bitcoin. We're the biggest. Look at this $30 million trade, $20 million trade. Like we have something to talk about. So I feel like that would be a good one for us to be at. And um, it's that Bitcoin crowd we kind of need to crack into. And not all of them are maxis, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
so um so how the call goes next week. I don't know if he's just trying to sell sponsorships or what, or how much they are. But yeah, now that I know you're cool with it, Chad, if they're open to a free speaking slot or something like that, well, maybe we'll do it. But just kind of answer your question about conferences more, Patriot. The way we've been looking at it is that's more top of funnel. So like, um, we kind of want everything else done. We want the website redone. We want the swap interface done. And would be nice to start doing some PR, like actual brand management, reputation, and repair. Like basically what you with public relations is you're going to journalists and asking them to write nice articles about you is the gist. And you got to pay for that because there's always backdoor deals and whatever, right? um but try and like get some more positive articles about THORChain, except money laundering on Bybit out there. And so that when we go to a conference, hopefully we've kind of pasted over some of like the negative press. And or if people haven't heard it, when they go to start looking online, they go Google THORChain. Now they start seeing more positive articles. Now they go to our site, everything is done, dialed in. Now they go to the swap interface, it works, they can use it. So, if we go to a conference today, and then that person goes and does all these things, now they find negative articles. The website isn't done, the swap interface isn't done. Like it's just been like, this is just the person walks away. Is it loses interest? So, we view the conferences as more kind of towards the end of all this. But we absolutely want to do them. We want to do side events. Hopefully we get to the point where we can be one of the main sponsors. We can have a corner booth that's huge, with a nice carpet and chairs for people to sit on, right? Like I'm thinking big on this, guys. But it's baby steps to get there, and each one builds on the one before. So I'm trying, and that's why I want to get these social handles. So this will help us build to get there. Especially stuff doesn't cost us much money, where it's just really just people's time, our time, putting it together. Whereas like a conference, like I wouldn't be surprised if they tell me it's 25 or 50 grand to have a booth there, right? Like it's not, these things aren't cheap. So anyway, does that answer your question, Patriot?
Oh, of course it does. And yeah, yeah, let's get everything settled in first. We look professional. But there's a lot there, man. Once we're all set and square, I mean, you had a QR code, just a big old QR code above the thing that took you right to STO. And then you can demonstrate with screen share, like on a TV, like just doing a swap in real time and how easy it is. Like there is so much there to be had. I mean, you could do so many things. There's so many things. Super cool.
Dude, you
So
you that's literally what sorry, I misunderstood you earlier. That's what I envisioned too. Like, whoever is running the booth, maybe they have like a few $100 to play with or 1,000, and they can show them, right? Or maybe you do a memoless swap where it's like, hey, you have you're a Bitcoiner. What's your Bitcoin address? Watch, I'm going to swap Ethereum from my wallet into your address, right? And they're going to see it.
Giving away free Bitcoin.
Yeah, give them
yeah,
$10 or
absolutely.
whatever, right? Like, oh shoot, is a minimum $100 for Bitcoin?
It is, but we could use different assets. Like, I mean, you go to Litecoin conference, use Litecoin. We go to BCH. We could go.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much we could do,
but
right?
you,
There's
you're right, and your mind is 100% right. 'Cause this is something that I feel pretty strongly about. Is I think we just need to show people how to use Thorchain. Like
You know what
Correct.
you could actually, this is an interesting idea. Instead of swapping to Bitcoin, swap to a secured asset Bitcoin. Then the person needs to get like a Thor address in order to get that BTC. And now you're getting people to like set up wallets. Do you know what I mean?
There you go. Um, but it's but there's but you guys are on the right track. Like in when you're in person with someone, you can walk them through it. It's just another way to hook them. And
Yeah.
even if we have like a just even a TV screen with a video that just walks, we do a screen share of like placing a swap. And just have that on loop, at the booth. Um, but totally. Like you guys are absolutely right. And but again, I think these are more at the end of our we gotta get all these other things done first, and then we can focus more on stuff like that.
Absolutely. But just think of what we could do, especially with the Rogerian app layer. I mean, you could just go one step out there. Hey, you want to make a swap? This is how you make a swap. Hey, let's take out a loan. Hey, let's do this. Let's do that. Like, really, it's incredible what we can do because all the primitives will be on STO as well, right? So, man, there's a diamond in here, brother. And once we get ready and we're prepped, like we could really just show some phenomenal things to people in real time at these conferences. It's getting me more excited the more I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, THORChain's awesome, right? Everyone should be using
It
it.
is awesome. That's right.
It's
It
the
is
best Bitcoin
awesome.
DEX in the world.
The best ever. Nothing will ever compare to THORChain. That's right, guys. God, I love these conversations. This is so much fun. All right, guys. Do we have anything else, or should we wrap it up here? I think this has been
One
a
last thing
sexy
for
way.
me. I
Go
just
ahead.
remembered. I have an appointment next week, so I will not be able to make the Thor space next week. You guys continue and party on, I guess, but I won't be able to join.
Well, if that's the case, then maybe Kenton, do you think because we had a record-setting swap, maybe we'll make Thursday next week Trust Wallet, Trust Wallet Day or something. I don't know. Maybe we can slot them in to talk about it on because it's a fresh thing, right? That happens, so we don't want to wait like 2 months before we talk about it and promote it. Like maybe they'd be super down to just going in, and maybe we can get another dev or something. I don't know. Maybe we can work something out
Yeah,
there.
good idea. Because they may not want to do a Saturday, and you're right. Our Saturdays are next few ones are booked, so maybe this is a works out well. So I'll reach out. I'll let them know and see.
Sounds good. I'll definitely miss you, Chad, but I'm excited. A little 2 weeks. So I'll get some questions in the queue, and so we'll bombard you in 2 weeks. That sounds okay.
That's fine. That's fine. All right, guys.
All right. Hey, guys, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful space, record setting week. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I don't even know what's going to happen. I hope you guys don't know what's going to happen. It's incredible. This Saturday, we're going to have Thor wallets with Pedro. And then the next Saturday, we're going to have Monero Sex with Nadine. Just a little reminder the TITN um, airdrop is live for Thorwall. If you go to Thorwall right now on X, they just made an announcement. I think it was 5 or 6 hours ago. So definitely check that out. Um, that's really exciting for them. So tune in on Saturday for that. And gosh, dang you guys, we're kicking ass. Love you all, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys. Good chatting.
Thanks, guys. Bye.